Alright, so let's talk about flying. Today we're going to look at these 10 questions and we're going to look at some of the vocabulary from the questions. These questions are questions that I've created. They're not official IELTS questions, but they are in the style of IELTS Part 1 questions, and I basically made them so that we can talk about some good vocabulary. So let's have a look at the first one. So as Dave and I have mentioned before on our blog and on videos, with vocabulary, it's really important that you don't just focus on single words, but that you focus on whole phrases. That way you will learn them correctly with the grammar and the correct collocations, and so it's easier to be natural, easier to be fluent if you learn whole phrases of vocabulary rather than just focus on individual words. Okay, so usually check in online to get a good seat. Now, get is a really good verb. It collocates very naturally with we use it very commonly, very naturally in England, in America, in English. So get married, get dressed, get up, get a good seat. So usually check in online to get a good seat. And be careful with the pronunciation, right? So to get, that weak sound, right? To get a good seat, to get a good seat. You usually check in online to get a good seat. So if you're clever, if you're smart, you'll check in online. For my flight the other day, I checked in as soon as I could. I had the email notification on my phone popped up from Emirates, and as soon as I could, usually in the past I've been rubbish and I've not always checked in quickly, not always checked in early, but this time I got in there and I made sure I got really good seats. I'll talk about the kind of seat in a minute, but seats at the front of the plane so that I got my food as quickly as possible. When they started serving, I got served first, so that's always a good tip. Hi Suru, happy birthday from the other day. Hi Ananta, hi Shiba. Alright, so when I checked in the other day, as I say, I checked in, I chose an aisle seat. So you've got the window seat, obviously the seat next to the window, and you've got the aisle seat, which is the seat next to where people are walking, right? The corridor, the walkway. So for me, I like to have an aisle seat. I prefer an aisle seat because it means if I need to go to the toilet or if I want to get up and have a walk and the person next to me is like, I don't have to disturb them, you know, and I'd rather be disturbed myself than disturb someone else. That's just my way. So I always prefer to have an aisle seat, and as I said before, I prefer to have a seat nearer the front of the plane so I get my food quickly. So pronunciation, yeah, aisle, I. Remember the phonemic chart? Hopefully you've been practicing the phonemic chart that we did the other day. So aisle, right? Aisle seat. An aisle seat. An aisle seat. Or a window seat. A window seat, yeah? So, packing your suitcase, packing your bags. Do you do it ahead of time? Do you do it early? Or do you leave it to the last minute? I know some people, they might start packing a few days, 2 or 3 days ahead of time, 2 or 3 days before they're going to travel. Whereas other people, they are doing it 1 or 2 hours before they're leaving to go to the airport. For me, I'm the kind of person who usually does things at the last minute, and packing is no different. But I did actually start my packing a day ahead of time, and then I finished it, and I was still sort of repacking at the last minute because I was trying to get as much in as possible. So look how long that phrase is, right? Do your packing ahead of time. That's the whole verb phrase. So ahead of time, obviously that's a phrase in itself. To do your packing ahead of time. And again, by learning that phrase and thinking about the stress, that's how you build up your fluency and build up good vocabulary, right? To do your packing ahead of time. Listen to the rhythm, right? To do your packing ahead of time. To do your packing ahead of time. Or do you leave it to the last minute? Again, that t, not to the. Leave it to the last minute. Leave it to the last minute. Leave it to the last minute. Yep. So, which are you? So do you travel light, or do you fill your bags to the max? Again, fill your bags could be fill your bags. Yeah, fill your bags to the max. Again, that week 2, right? To the max. Do you fill your bags to the max? So travel light means you just take what you need. Maybe you could take 30 kilos of things, but actually I have a friend who they love they don't like to check in their luggage if they can avoid it, so they just take the hand luggage with them. It means when they land they can just get straight through. They don't have to wait around in the baggage hall picking up their checked in luggage. They just get straight out of the airport. So to travel light. But we don't have the opposite. We don't have travel heavy. You can say I filled my bags, and to the max. It's a nice little phrase as well. So to fill your bags to the max, or do you travel light? And I think you might know, because I mentioned it on the video, that I always fill my bags to the max. So I filled my suitcases right up to and a little bit over the weight limit, and I even had an extra little bag as well, full of presents for my family. So I filled it with presents for my family, which they'll get at Christmas, and then on the way back I'm going to fill them to the max again with lots of my favorite foods and things to take back to Vietnam. Alright, so do you usually arrive at the airport in plenty of time or just in time? So again, listen to the pronunciation. Plenty of time. Not plenty of time, plenty of time. Plenty of time. Not of, but of. Of. Saying it slowly or saying it fast, the sound changes, right? Plenty of time. Of time. Of time. In plenty of time, or just in time. Just in time. So do you usually arrive at the airport early, or do you usually arrive late, but just before they close the gate, close checking in? So for my trip a few days ago, I planned to leave early. I planned to arrive in plenty of time, but last minute things to do, and I got in the taxi a bit late, but luckily it was late. It was in the evening, so there wasn't much traffic on the way to the airport, and I arrived just in time when it was the last check-in. But luckily I'd already checked in online, so that made it a little bit less stressful. Alright guys, so maybe the internet is a little bit slow. I'm sorry if the internet in this house isn't quite as good as in Vietnam. Hopefully you're still with us. All right. So, do you get nervous when you're going through customs? So again, that get nervous. Do you get nervous? Do you get scared when you're going through security, when you're going through customs? You know, all those checks. Maybe you're thinking, oh my God, is there something in my bag that I didn't, that shouldn't be in there? Or, you know, just the, when you see lots of people, the security, and they're asking you to take off your belt and your shoes and, you know, all that stuff, it can just make some people feel a bit nervous. Yeah. Personally, for me, I get a little bit nervous, but you know, I pack my bags myself, obviously, so I generally know that everything is okay. So yeah, I'm just a little bit nervous, probably like most people. Do you prefer takeoff or do you prefer landing, or do you hate both or do you love both? I used to really love flying. I used to really love taking off. It was really exciting. Landing I wasn't so keen on because it's slower and you know your ears hurt sometimes with all the pressure. So I think I definitely prefer taking off to landing. But these days I'm not so excited about takeoff. So I tend not to even notice, actually. I think in this flight I was too busy getting ready to watch a movie that I didn't even notice taking off on one of the flights and landing on one of the flights. So yeah. Yes, Nguyen. Yes, Hung. Customs means security. Yeah, customs means security. It's the same. So you can say, just go back, going through security. You know, do you get nervous when you're going through security? When you're going through the security checks? When you're going through the custom checks? So any of that, it's pretty much the same. Okay. Hi, Sarita. All right, so duty free, a big part of every airport. These days, all modern airports, like especially in the Middle East, which I fly through on the way to the UK, they have amazing, you know, huge shopping malls of duty free. So much stuff, so much choice. So do you usually buy something in duty free, or do you just go window shopping? Me, I don't tend to buy anything. I try and organize my flight so I have quite a short window, short layover, and I just kind of wander through and maybe have a look, bit of window shopping, but I don't really buy anything. So Wing's asking me about takeoff, if takeoff has another meaning. Trying to think, takeoff. Not that I can think of right now. So as Nia is recommending, and I think it's a good tip, that try adjusting the resolution. So if you've got it on auto anyway, it's fine, but check the video settings on your Facebook and try and reduce the resolution so that you can still follow and it doesn't buffer too much. But sorry about that. Oh yeah, of course, Wing, sorry. Yeah, so take off your clothes, of course, yeah. Take off something. Yeah, take off your shoes. And the plane is taking off because it's leaving, right? Leaving the ground. Taking off from the ground. Take off your jumper. Take off your scarf, yeah. Thank you for that. So, question 9 out of 10. do you enjoy the in-flight meals and entertainment? So you can say in-flight meals, in-flight entertainment, in-flight movie, in-flight service. So that will collocate with lots of different things. I really love it. I really love all that stuff. For me, it's like being a kid again. Even though you pay for the ticket, so even though you've paid for all of this stuff, it kind of still feels like they're giving it to you for free, right? And you're being waited on, you know, like you sit in the chair, you've got all the latest movies in front of you, they're bringing you your meals, you know, you can have as many drinks as you want. And when I used to when I used to fly, I used to, you know, have some wine or some nice drinks and coffee. But these days I've learnt my lesson, and I realized that that's not it doesn't really help you to have a very relaxing flight. For me anyway, it makes my jet lag, you know, the feeling when you get to where you are and you feel a bit tired for a few days, jet lag, it makes my jet lag worse. So these days I'm kind of boring, and I just have, you know, lots of water, lots of tea, but I do enjoy the food. Yeah, it's great. Thanks, Ananta. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'll be able to upgrade the internet in my house, but maybe I can move to closer to where the Wi-Fi is. I'm pretty close to where the Wi-Fi is at the moment, but maybe I can try and do it in a different place. Maybe not even in my house, where the Wi-Fi is better. So sorry guys if you're having problems with that. It just shows you that internet in Vietnam, or in Ho Chi Minh City at least, is better than in England. So, do you find it easy to sleep during a long flight? So in the past, when I used to drink wine and coffee and I was too excited watching lots of movies, I didn't find it easy. But nowadays, I'm smarter and I drink lots of water and tea, avoiding coffee, and I find it easier. The first flight from Vietnam to Dubai, I pretty much slept the whole flight, which was great. So look at this vocabulary. Find it easy to sleep. So do you find it easy to do something? That's a really nice phrase, and it's quite a long phrase. So it will impress the examiner. This kind of like long phrases, all collocated correctly, is the kind of phrase that will actually impress the examiner. Yeah, so to find it easy to sleep, yeah, during a long flight. Alright, so just a quick review of how you should be studying vocabulary, guys. So focusing on the meaning of the vocabulary, the sound, the pronunciation, and the use. So for example, an aisle seat, it's a noun phrase, it's a countable noun, that's why I put the C there. The meaning of it obviously is the seat next to the walkway. There's the pronunciation, aisle seat. And you choose an aisle seat, you prefer an aisle seat to like an aisle seat. So I've got the collocations there, I've got the meanings, I've got the pronunciation, I've got everything that I need to know how to use this word correctly. Yeah, so you guys can go back and you can have a look at the vocabulary that I've been focusing on in this lesson, and you can make notes about that using the same format, and make sure that you know this vocabulary really well. Have a look in your online dictionary, Macmillan Dictionary, Oxford, Cambridge, for example. Yeah.